Hello friends, my name is Hamid. Today I'm working on W1623 Miele washing machine. I will be replacing this gasket today and I'll show you how to do this. I can replace this gasket from the front of the washing machine by just opening the door, but I'm not going to do that because I want to teach you how to do it yourself if you're a homeowner. So of course this is the part. The part number is right here, and this part goes between $400 to $600 Canadian. The first thing we want to do is we will open the door here. Make sure the unit is in on position. While it's in on position, you press and hold the door button. It will open the door. It will unlock. Here's the model and serial number. It's always on the door on these units. And you can also tell from the front. This is the gasket I will be replacing today. All because of the mold. You will be replacing the door gasket if you have hole in the gasket, if it's moldy, if it smells really bad and you cannot get rid of the smell, or if it's leaking from the bottom. And sometimes I've seen holes on the gasket, and because of that you have to replace the door gasket. So there's so many reasons to replace the gasket. Today I'm replacing the gasket because of the mold on it. In order to replace the door gasket, we're going to take 3 screws off. Once you open the door, you take only 3 screws off. One is Turks number 30 T30, and the other 2s are for the door lock. It's T20, and the way it looks like a star. And this is the screw we're going to open. We're going to open this. We're going to change the number 30 to T20, opening the 2 screws from there. These screws are going into the plastic. This door lock is made of plastic, so be careful when you open it. Please open it slowly. We will take the spring off that holds the door in place, the door gasket in place from the front. You can use a flat screwdriver too, or I use this tool. To pull the washer out, you can always add protection on the floor. If you have on these floorings, we can pull the washer out easily. I will add a little bit of detergent on the front feet. I'll just stir it back and forth here. You hold from the washer front. First of all, you want to give it a little bit of push to the back, to the front, and then after that you can pull it. To open these plastic clips, use the smallest flat screwdriver possible. When you open the screw, you open it halfway and then push it back in, that's all. And then after that you can lift up your lid. Okay, you can, if the screw is not open enough, it's not going to come out. Okay. Lift up your lid, push it to the back. We are disconnecting the power here. You can always unplug your unit. Okay, so we disconnected the power because it's a little bit hard to disconnect it from the back, or you can always ask your customer to turn off the power from the breaker. Take the soap dispenser out and you press on here and the soap dispenser comes out. The next part you want to do is take your control panel out. You can lift it up, wiggle it back and forth and lift it up. Once you lift it up, you just put it on its side. That's good. And now we have one screw here, T20, and another T20 here. You can, while you're opening the screw, you put your hand or feet fit like that, so it's gonna hold the front panel. Take this. When you take the panel off, it's okay, you don't have to open that. Your door lock, you see the way it comes out from here. Just remember to put it back in place like that. Make sure you put it back in like this when you reinstall your the front panel back in. And the front panel sits on those little small clips. And then after that, you can lift up the front panel. Once you take your front panel off, now everything is in front of you here. See the way the gasket looks here? You can always take this piece off and let it the way it is. Push your gasket towards inside. By doing this, it's gonna make your job easier. The next thing you want to do is, there's one Torx screw here. You see that screw in there? That's the screw you want to open. It's a T20. We will add this 90-degree angle. You do not have to add this 90-degree angle, but because we have this, it's going to make our job easier the way we are going to open it. Okay, that's good. Now you can add a screwdriver. See the way the spring around the gasket is? You can just pull it out completely. Let me see the gasket once you pull it out. You see the gasket is so moldy here. Okay, thank you. Before you install your gasket, you want to get a wet towel and wipe all of this ganky stuff here. See all of this ganky stuff. When you get your new gasket, it also comes with the front retainer clip, or the spring, the front clip, the front spring that holds the gasket in place. Here's the new gasket. The way you're installing the new gasket is that you're gonna line this up at the bottom of the washer. And the way you're installing this, it's important to mention, because there's a lot of videos that don't tell you this when it's your first time installing the gasket. You see this opening right here? You see this opening right here in this area? This area opening goes right on top of this cutout on the door itself, like that, and it keeps going down. All of this opening, you see, cut out on the door, on the opening of the washer, goes in this seam. You hold it like this two times here, all your fingers at the back, and you're gonna open it in this position. You see the opening? I'm gonna open it like this, and then I'll add it on top here. You see, you kind of push it with two fingers two times from the back, and from the front you kind of spread it open like this, and then add it there. So here, just like that. Once it goes there, you have to hold it with one hand, with right hand side, and then with left hand side you keep adding it. You do a little bit on that side, and then hold this side. You do not want to release this area. If you move your hand and you're playing here, the gasket is gonna fall down. So always hold it with your one hand. Okay, keep going. See the way I'm using one hand and I'm putting my thumb here, and then the four fingers kind of spreads it open so it sits on top of the drum opening. The bottom side is a little bit tricky because you do not have enough space to use your hand, but you can still do it. It's not that hard. The same thing when you get to this area. Unfortunately, you cannot remove this part, so you really have to add your hand from the bottom and work on it like this. That area you still wanna push it with two hands. You work on it all the way to the bottom here. See, that nipple is helpful. You can pull it, and now you're gonna start working on it from other side. For me, to make my job easier, what I do is I kind of push the gasket, put the gasket inside. The rest, you can keep working on it like this. So your gasket sits okay now. What I'm going to do is I'll open it back again. The center of the hole is supposed to come straight here like that. I'm still on the first one. I have to bring the center one. It looks good. Once you install your gasket back together, you can line up your spring. Your spring is loose here, you see? It's loose, and now you can retighten it. If you have a hand screwdriver, you want to go in this position. You see you got an opening here. That's where you put your hand screwdriver. You can always bring your spring a little bit up. See that? And now from here, put your hand screwdriver from here, just like that. You do not want to over tight this spring. Once you added your spring, the back spring, you can pull out your gasket, and again double check your holes. These holes are, you want to always pay attention on it. You can add this water sprayer. To make your job easier, you can always add a little bit of dish soap, or you can always add a little bit of soap in here. That's good. If you get the feeling that this may come out, you can always add a zip tie here, but you should be fine. Once the detergent dries out, you can always use detergent or water. It dries out, it's going to be okay. Just in case if you're worried that it may come off, you can always add a zip tie here. That's all. See these nipples? The front panel sits on top of these two nipples. There's one on the left, one on the right. And you see the way it sits. And so once you add your front panel, you want to hold your door opener and insert it in here, just like that. Do not forget this. can add your top screws back in, add your top control panel back in. Here I'll mention something that sometime when you work on your washer and you take the control panel off, is that this is your pressure hose comes off, and then if you forget to put this back in, your washer is gonna overfill and it will never stop. It will keep filling and filling and filling until the door opens or causes a water leakage. So be careful when you put your control panel back in. Double check or triple check this pressure hose. And then it just sits down here. See, it's easy and simple. When you reinstall your door lock, you have to hold it from the back with your hand and add your screws. Be careful, you're using the screws are going in the plastic. Do not over torque it, so it's gonna strip the screw. That's gonna strip the hole. Okay, that's good enough. I recommend you using a hand screwdriver if you're a homeowner and if it's your first time, because with the drill you're going to cause a lot of issues. When you install your gasket on the front, the same thing. You see the way I'm holding it, 2 times on the front, all my fingers are at the back. You kind of push it from here and pull it out like this, and then you see this opening right here. It sits on top. When you add it there, you want to hold it with your right hand side. Do not let it go, and then keep working on it. See, 1 thumb here, and then the rest of the fingers are at the back. You go like this, keep going until you get it more, and then that way you can release that area and start working on it here. Bottom, from the bottom you have to add it together just like that, and it sits. See, if you put pressure on it, in order to open this, you can always open it like this. The good part is this new spring, the plastic spring that comes with the new gasket, is more easier compared to the old one. If you had to install this spring looking one, it would be a big job. I'll try to do it, but it's a little bit hard. You line this up just in case if you don't have this plastic one, like that. And now you have to put a lot of force on one side. Here, that's the way you do it. But because this gasket comes with its own because the gasket comes with its own front spring, a retainer clip, you can kind of reinstall it like this. Here. Here. You double check everything on the gasket to make sure it's good. I kind of don't like this because see, the moment you put a little bit pressure on it, it pulls it right out. But with the spring it doesn't happen. I'll show you. With the spring it holds it really good. You can always use a needle nose plier if it's hard for you to reinstall a gasket spring back in. Hold it down, put lots of pressure on it. It's good. I'm happy with the spring and I'm gonna leave the spring on. I'm not gonna use this. It's just a cheap plastic that they send it with the new gasket. You see these bottom opening here? This gets inserted on top of those and then push it down. when you run the washer after the door gasket is installed, sometimes it doesn't happen all the time, but sometimes the drum that spins inside will make a little bit of harsh noise. It's going to make a little bit of a squeaking noise. That's completely normal. To get rid of that, you can run the washer on diagnostic and select the full spin cycle on it, just the spin cycle, and run your spin cycle for maybe 3 minutes, and that will kind of keep hitting the front of the gasket and it wears out, and that fixes the problem. I remember in the past there was a couple of my friends, they're technicians, they replaced the door gasket on a Miele washer, and they said the customer is complaining now that there's noise when the drum is going back and forth. They did not have this noise before. To fix that, you really can't do anything. The only thing you can do is run a spin cycle on it for the first 3 minutes when you install a gasket. That will take care of the problem. This usually happens in W40-800 large size Miele. That unfortunately those units are discontinued. They do not make those units anymore. But on these small units, I've seen it once in a while. Thank you so much for watching my videos. If you guys have any question, you can comment below. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel, like my videos, share it with others. You can also follow us on Facebook. It's called Hamid Appliances Repair. Do not forget to level your washer properly when you reinstall it back, and if the washer is not leveled properly, you're gonna have issues. Thank you. Here's the gasket, and now you can see that when I turn on the washer, it makes noise. So I have a video that I posted before this, but I'm going to show you how to fix this. So anytime you replace the door gasket on these washers, you have to go to diagnostic to run the spin cycle for a couple of times to take care of this issue. What you can do is press and hold the start button. While you're holding it, you're going to press the power on and then wait until you see the lights. The moment you see the lights, you're going to press this start button 1, 2, 3 and hold it. So I'm going to do this 1, 2, 3 and hold it. Here it's going to go straight to the diagnostic, and from here you got the control here. Each time you are turning, the knob is going to go through fault codes, component test, digital sensor test, operating hours, controls, ID number. You have nothing to do with any of these, except you're going to go on component, press start, and then from here you're going to go keep turning the knob until you see the M5 plus M8. You have to run this for a couple of times. You have to run this for a couple of minutes to take care of this issue. It's gonna go through the spin cycle now. It's gonna go on fast spin cycle. See, it's getting faster. That's how you take care of this noise. You hear this noise? The customer's complaint would be this noise. Here you want to run it on this for a couple of times. So you want to run this until you get rid of the noise. And I'll show you something here. When you run that a spin cycle for a couple of times, you're gonna see some rubber debris here. And if you put your hand here, it's getting also a little bit warm and hot. That's completely normal because this lip of the drum keeps hitting this lip of the gasket.